I bought my parents a luxury car and cleared their debt. At my mom's retirement party, she called me a fool for thinking I was important. So I stopped paying. The next day, 105 missed calls. Hey everyone. Before we kick off today's video, I've got a favor to ask. We've noticed our channel isn't getting as much love lately, and subscribing is one of the easiest ways you can help us out. It's quick, free, and it means we can keep bringing you awesome content. Your support really means a lot, so let's work together to keep this channel growing. Thanks a bunch. Now, let's dive into the video. So, I'm basically the yes guy in my family. Need help this month? Sure, I got you. Can you pay this bill? Of course. I mean, you wouldn't let your own parents struggle, right? So, for years, I've been the guy who keeps everything running smoothly for everyone around me. It all started small, helping out with a few bills here and there. But before I knew it, I was the one paying for everything, like the mortgage, car payments, even my mom's medical bills and my dad's golf club membership. They didn't just take my money, they took all I could give. I'm a corporate lawyer, and honestly, I'm kinda killing it at my firm. I work these intense 70-hour weeks, negotiating big money deals to keep my clients out of court. But here's the thing, I've got no wife or kids and zero time for vacations or hobbies. It's just work and, well, my family, who took full advantage. My sister Anna got in the habit of hitting me up for rent money or a new phone whenever she needed it. My cousin Mark, who runs this struggling construction business, leaned on me for free legal work, contracts, settlements, lawsuits, you name it. My parents relied on me for everything too. I drafted their wills, snagged them a better insurance deal, and even helped my dad after he rammed someone else's car. When my mom was ready to retire, I made sure she was set, paid off their house, cleared their debt, and even surprised them with a fancy new car because my dad had always dreamed of having one. I thought maybe they'd finally see me as more than their personal ATM. But boy, was I wrong. The real kicker happened at my mom's huge retirement bash. I handled everything, the food, venue, live music, even a slideshow of her career. I stepped out to take a work call and, when I came back, I overheard my mom and my aunt talking in the hallway. They didn't know I was listening, but my mom actually said something like, "Ethan thinks he's important just because he pays for everything." Ouch. I was stunned. Even my dad and cousin Mark joined in on the laugh fest, joking about how I was useful for my cash and free legal work. I felt like a fool, just some guy they used without a second thought. And in that moment, something in me snapped. I walked back into the party, my heart racing, and did something they never saw coming. I sat at my table, pulled out my phone, and right in front of everyone, I canceled every automatic payment linked to all their accounts, mortgage, utilities, car payments, insurance, the whole shebang. "What are you doing?" Anna asked, looking confused. "All done," I said, and put my phone away. My dad was like, "Ethan, be serious." But I was done playing their game. "You think I'm naive for covering your bills? Fine, let's see how you handle it yourselves." The room went dead silent. "Ethan, stop being dramatic," my mom snapped. "Dramatic?" I laughed. "No, this is way overdue." And with that, I walked out, leaving them in shock. For the first 2 days, there was silence. Then the calls started pouring in. First, my mom, "Ethan, you forgot to send the money for the electricity." Ignored. Then my dad, "Son, this insurance thing is serious." Ignored. Anna tried too, "You're punishing us over one silly comment?" Ignored again. By the end of the week, I had 37 missed calls. By the end of the month, that number jumped to 105. I thought they might back off after a while, but the chaos just kept coming. The silence didn't last long. So, it all started with those classic guilt trip messages. My mom hit me with, "Ethan, we're your family. Families don't treat each other like this." Then my dad chimed in, "Your mother is so stressed she can't sleep. Do you even care?" And Anna just had to add, "Wow, so you're just gonna abandon us like we're strangers?" I decided not to respond. Next up were those not so subtle jabs on social media. Anna posted something like, "Some people only do things for others so they can throw it back in their faces. Real love is unconditional." I actually laughed when I read that. Unconditional? For years, I'd been the one paying her bills without ever asking for anything. But now that I decided to stop, suddenly I'm the bad guy. Then things got desperate. My mom texted, "Ethan, the electricity got cut off today. We don't have power. How could you?" That one almost got me, until I remembered I'd been handling the bills for ages. Anytime I mentioned budgeting support, my mom would wave it off with "Oh, Don't worry, sweetheart. We'll figure it out. Well, it seems like it's time for them to figure it out. A week later, they made an unannounced visit to my office. I was knee-deep in work when my assistant buzzed in and said, "Ethan, your family is here without an appointment, and they say it's urgent." I sighed, rubbed my temples, and thought, I should have seen this coming. I asked her to lead them to the conference room, closed my laptop, and walked in to find my mom, dad, and Anna looking pretty ticked off. "Ethan," my mom started, "this has gone on long enough. You've made your point. Now let's be reasonable and fix this." I leaned against the table, playing dumb. "Fix what?" She snapped, "The bills. We're behind on everything, the mortgage, the car, the insurance." I simply replied, "Not my problem." My dad shook his head, "Son, you can't just cut us off like this. We're family." I shrugged, "Oh, I can." And I did. Anna crossed her arms, "So what, you just expect us to struggle? You mean like I struggled, working 70-hour weeks to pay for everything while you all sat back and laughed at me?" I shot back. Anna scoffed, "It was just a joke, Ethan. You're blowing this way out of proportion." I leaned forward and clarified, "Let's get one thing straight. You laughed at me, mocked me, used me, and now that I'm standing up for myself, I'm suddenly the bad guy? No, that's not how this works." My mom tried with her sympathetic voice, "Sweetheart, we never meant to hurt you. We just assumed you liked helping us." I chuckled bitterly, "Did I ever get a choice?" Silence. Finally, my dad tried to make a deal. "All right, Ethan, what if you don't have to cover everything anymore? Just help with the big stuff, the house, the car, the insurance. That's fair, right?" I smiled, and they all seemed relieved for a second. Then I said, "Sure, let's make a deal. I'll cover everything again if you sign a contract agreeing to pay me back every cent, with interest." Relief gone. My mom snapped, "Ethan, don't be ridiculous." I pulled out a blank legal contract. "Oh, I'm very serious. Since you all love using me for my legal skills, let's make this official." Anna stared, "You expect us to pay you back?" "Yup," I replied. "You never asked for money back before," she protested. "And you never appreciated it before," I shot back. My dad slammed his hand on the table, "You're acting like a stranger." I looked at him, unfazed. "You made it clear you were only putting up with me because I paid for everything. Let's see if you still want me around without my wallet." Silence. My mom looked between the contract and me, "You're serious?" "Dead serious," I replied. She pushed her chair back and stood up. "Fine, keep your money. But don't expect us to come crawling back when you realize you need your family." "I won't," I said. Anna stormed out first, then my dad, then my mom. I finally sat back in my chair, exhaled, and smiled. For the first time in years, I felt free. About a month passed, and the guilt-tripping messages started to fade. Then one afternoon, I got a text from Anna, "We're selling the house. Mom and Dad can't afford it without your help." I stared at it for a while, then replied, "Not my problem. Good luck." For the first time, I hit send without feeling a shred of guilt. After they stormed out of my office, I expected them to finally back off. Nope, I was wrong. First, they went the emotional route, hitting me with a long text from Linda about family and how I was turning my back on the people who raised me. My dad left a voicemail, his voice heavy with disappointment. "I thought I raised a better man than this, Ethan. You're letting us all down." Anna simply texted, "You're pathetic." I ignored them all, and then they decided to step it up a notch. One evening, my phone started buzzing with messages. So, I got a call from this random number, and against my better judgment, I picked up. It was Ethan. "Hey, it's Tom. Tom's my parents' neighbor. I've known him for years, but we aren't exactly close." Hey Tom, what's up?" "Listen, buddy, I ran into your folks the other day. They're in pretty rough shape. Your mom's been crying nonstop, and your dad looks like he's dropped about 10 pounds. They're seriously struggling, Ethan." I clenched my jaw. "And they need you, man. I know there's been some drama, but they're your family. Are you really going to let them lose their house?" The classic guilt trip via a third party. "Did they tell you why they're in this mess?" I asked. Tom hesitated. "Well, did they tell you I covered all their expenses, mortgage, debts, cars, for years?" Silence. "No, I didn't think so," I replied coldly. "Tom, I respect you, but don't call me about this again. It's not my problem anymore." And I hung up. A week later, my firm's HR called me. "Ethan, we need to talk. There's been a situation." My stomach tightened. What kind of situation? A woman claiming to be your mom called us this morning. She was super distressed, saying you had a mental breakdown and she's worried about you. I blinked. She what? Yeah, she asked if we could check in on you and even suggested maybe your workload is too much and you need some time off. This was insane. You know this is total BS, right? I said, barely containing my anger. Of course, but we had to follow up. She made it seem like you were having a serious mental health crisis. We're just relieved you're okay. Oh, I'm fine, I said through gritted teeth. But if she calls again, tell her to stay out of my business. I hung up, furious. Clearly, this wasn't their last move. Then, 2 weeks later, I got an urgent voicemail from Anna. Ethan, please, I know you're mad, but I need your help. It's about Dad. He's in big trouble. Please call me back. I didn't trust it, but a tiny part of me still cared, so I called her. She picked up right away, sounding like she'd been crying. What's going on? Dad got involved with the wrong people. Loan sharks, they're threatening to take the house. If we don't pay $50,000 by the end of the month, they'll take legal action. I knew this was a scam. Real loan sharks don't send legal notices or threaten lawsuits. They don't involve lawyers, they use muscle. And $50,000? That was exactly how much I used to send them annually for their bills. Too convenient. Put Dad on the phone, I said. He's not home right now, she answered quickly. Anna, I want to hear it from him. I can't, he's too stressed to talk. That confirmed it. Nice try, I said coldly, but you're a terrible liar. Ethan, I swear this is real. Oh really? What's the lender's name? It's First Capital Lending. I laughed. That's a real bank, Anna, not a loan shark. Silence. You just made that up, didn't you? I didn't. I'm done with this scam. Seriously, put some effort into it next time. Good luck paying that debt without me, I said and hung up. That was the last straw. I blocked their numbers, changed my email, and told my law firm's receptionist not to accept any calls from my family. For the first time, I felt free. A week later, I got one last message from my mom. We're selling the house. Hope you're happy. I stared at the text, then replied, I am, and never looked back. Cutting them off should have been the end, but folks like my family never give up. For a while, there was silence, no texts, no calls. It had been weeks since the loan shark scam, and I thought they finally got the message. But then Uncle Ray called. I was hesitant to answer since we barely talk, just a distant relative from another state. Ethan, hey, it's Ray. Hey, Uncle Ray, what's up? Look, I hate to get involved in family stuff, but your mom called me. She's saying you abandoned them. I rolled my eyes. Did she mention I paid for everything for years? She might have left that part out. Figures. You know how it is when people pick sides but aren't really sure how to? Well, that's my family all the way. They're losing their house, Dad's a wreck, and Anna's barely holding it together. But honestly, that's not my issue anymore. Rye, I sighed, I get where you're coming from, but family's complicated, right? I clenched my jaw and asked, is that what she told you? That I just ditched them? Silence. I went on, let me save you some time. I paid off their debts, covered their mortgage, and even bought them a fancy car. And what did I get? They laughed at me, called me a fool, and said they only put up with me because I foot the bills. More silence, then Ray cleared his throat. Yeah, she left that out. So I told Rye, nope, not paying another cent. Rye got it and promised not to bug me again. Click. They were losing support one by one, and 2 months later, the fallout really hit. Their house was foreclosed, the car got repossessed, and Dad's business went bust. Then out of nowhere, I got this email with the subject line, are you sure you want to do this to your own mother? I almost ignored it, but curiosity got the best of me. When I opened it, I felt sick to my stomach. It was a GoFundMe page titled, Desperate Mother on the Verge of Homelessness After Heartless Son Betrays Family. It was so ridiculous I was actually mad. They were using old family pictures for sympathy. They'd raised $12,450 out of a $50,000 goal, and it was working. I thought about just ignoring it, but they messed up by using my full name, that's defamation. So, I sent it over to a buddy in cybersecurity, and he quickly found the IP address tied to the GoFundMe. Guess what? It led right back to Anna's laptop. Gotcha. Then I rang my lawyer, Greg. Hey, you still deal with defamation cases? I asked. Always, he said. Who's the target? My own family, I replied, sending him all the proof. He whistled, wow, that's low, even for family. Yeah, well, they started it, I said. Want to send a cease and desist first or jump straight to legal? No mercy, I decided. Within 48 hours, the GoFundMe was shut down, money frozen. Anna called, screaming, you had no right. Actually, I did, I calmly replied. It's called fraud, Anna. We were just trying to survive, she protested. No, I corrected her, you were scamming people, and now you've got real consequences. Silence. And by the way, I let GoFundMe's fraud department know too, I added. Click. A week later, I heard from Uncle Ray that Anna had to pay back the donors. My parents were still buried in debt with no way out. A month later, I got one last voicemail from Mom. Her voice was empty, defeated. Ethan, I know you hate us, but we're your family. I don't know what to do anymore. Please, just talk to me. I listened, then deleted it. I felt nothing. It's been 6 months since I cut them off, and honestly, I thought I'd feel relieved, but instead, I just felt strange. Not regret or guilt, just this weird emptiness. It's the kind of feeling you get when you finally realize that those you called family were just leeches. Then, one evening, I got home, tossed my briefcase on the counter, and my phone buzzed. It was a number I didn't recognize. I hesitated, then picked up. Hello? A shaky voice on the other end, definitely not my mom. Ethan, it's me, Kelly. I blinked, surprised. Kelly, Jacob's wife? We weren't close, but she'd always been the quiet, observant one, the only one who didn't treat me like a walking ATM. Yeah, I said cautiously, what's up? Hey, so I wasn't sure if I should call, but I figured you should know your folks moved in with Anna. I was like, wait, what? Things must be really bad. And yeah, they are. Anna's business tanked, the house is a disaster, and your folks barely leave their rooms. Anna's a mess too, drinking too much and snapping at everyone. She even told me she wishes you were never born. I kinda rolled my eyes at that because it's not exactly news, right? But seriously, she's losing it. And without you there, they're all turning on each other. I leaned against the counter, trying to process it all. Why are you telling me this, Kelly? I asked. She paused and said, I think your mom's sick. My stomach twisted. Sick? Like how? Kelly wasn't sure but said mom's lost a lot of weight and barely talks. Anna won't take her to a doctor because they're broke, and dad just sits around drinking. I took a deep breath, realizing this mess was their life now. For years, they lived off me, blew their money, and treated me like I didn't matter. Now, it seemed they didn't matter to each other either. Why are you really calling, Kelly? I asked after a moment. She hesitated, then admitted, your mom asked me to. She didn't want to do it herself, said she'd rather die than beg you for help. But, Ethan, I think she hopes you'll come back. I closed my eyes. This was their last-ditch effort. I let the silence hang until Kelly sighed. I know they don't deserve it, but I also know you, and I get that this is hard for you. She wasn't wrong. I clenched my jaw and said the only thing Kelly didn't want to hear. They made their choice, she sighed. Yeah, I figured you'd say that. You're a good person, Kelly. Don't let them drag you down, I replied. She let out a bitter laugh, too late for that, and hung up. I stared at my phone for a while, and then did something unexpected. I unblocked my mom's number and sent a final message. I know you're sick. Go to a hospital. You can fix this for yourself, but don't expect anything from me again. This is the last time I'll acknowledge you. She read it immediately but didn't reply. Months went by, and I never heard from them again. I don't know if mom got to a doctor, if dad stopped drinking, or if Anna got her act together. And honestly, I don't care. For the first time in my life, I'm free.